What up, YouTube? Back at it again on another Thursday, giving you my NFL picks for the next upcoming week 4 that we are in the NFL season. Before we begin, thank you again, Big Blue Crew, for hosting me on your guys' platform. I am a member of the Big Blue Crew, and if you guys are not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys go hit that like button, subscribe, and turn that notification bell on so you never miss a video. What do we talk about on the channel? We talk about everything. We got the boys calling the games. We cover basketball. We cover football. We cover NCAA basketball, NCAA football. We go into in depth on film breakdowns and seeing what really happened in these games. That sometimes the naked eye can't see. The games go by so fast that sometimes when you go back and you look at the film, you can really break it down. So if you guys do like everything sports related, we even cover boxing. Lou and Reels and Pat. Leather to the face. They cover boxing. We cover MMA. Everything sports related. This channel is gonna have it. We're gonna branch out also to rugby games. We might branch out to volleyball and soccer. So if you guys love sports, or should I say real football, I know everybody that's watching from Europe or the rest of the world, they're like, what are you talking about? That's real. It's not called soccer, it's called football. I would say here in America, we call it soccer, but it is what it is. That's a debate for another day. That being said, you guys already know how it goes today. We're gonna be previewing the picks, giving previewing the games for this upcoming week. Starting with a crazy matchup that we got going on tonight. Obviously, we are going to talk about that. But what I want to do is I want to skip this game and I want to come back and I want to cover this game at the very end. So that's what I'll probably do. I'll probably start with, I believe, the Saints and Atlanta's matchup. And then we can always come back and preview the Giants versus Cowboys at the end of the stream because I'm a huge Giants fan, as you all know. Most of you subscribe to this channel is Giants fans. So I really, really appreciate you guys joining and, watching today. Let's get it, though. New Orleans Saints versus Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be a division game, and this is going to be a fun one. We have the Saints finally taking their first loss to the Eagles in a tough out last week, and then we have the Falcons losing against the Chiefs. Both teams are coming to, stay claim to the division. I know Tampa just took a loss as well, so the division, it's still early in the season, so the division is still up for grabs. As far as the key injuries, you see it down below. Most of these players will probably be playing. You got Alvin Kamara that's just been going off as of late, absolutely killing it in fantasy, killing it all around as both a dynamic pass catcher out of the backfield, but also a running back. You got Saunders, and then you also got Demorio Davis injured for New Orleans, but they probably should play. And then we got Caleb questionable, probably should play for Atlanta. That being said, guys, this is going to be at Mercedes Benz Stadium in Atlanta. And honestly, this is a division game. Now, the Saints been looking like world beaters over the past couple of weeks. They finally got humbled against the Eagles. They finally snapped back down to reality after starting the season scoring over 40 points on two respected NFL clubs. But that being said, man, they are going against a tough Atlanta team that has had a tough schedule, man. Atlanta played the who of the who in the NFL for the first couple of weeks, and I believe that they already, and it's built them up to beat a team like the Saints, beat a division rival like the Saints, and show the Saints that, hey, we are here, we are here to stay. I'm still super high on Atlanta. If you really think about it, Atlanta's first game of the season was one against one of the toughest defenses in the Steelers. Then they went out there and they had to go face the Eagles, a game that they actually snuck the victory by Kirk Cousins' amazing drive at the end. And then they followed that back up with the Chiefs. So you go against the Eagles, the Steelers, the Eagles, and the Chiefs back to back to back. Man, that's tough. If you look at the Saints been absolutely world beaters. Like I said, they go out there and I believe what do they drop? They drop like 47 on the Panthers. They go and they drop 44 on the Cowboys. And these are the weapons on defense just flying around. Derek Carr looks like he's gonna have an MVP type season. And then you get matched up against a team like the Eagles. It's a low scoring defensive game, and the Eagles sneak a victory in that one. If I have to choose a team in this one, I know the Saints are coming in. They're going to get the points, but I'm going to choose the home team in this one. I'm going to give the Saints the points. I'm going to say Atlanta wins at least by a touchdown in this one. They're going to be at home as well. So that is that is going to help. They're going to have the home field advantage. Plus two, I believe. Even though the Saints have a great defense, they are coming back down to earth. And I think Atlanta, after playing a team like the Chiefs, going down to the wire at the Chiefs, and even that drive against the Eagles, kind of for me, it kind of showed me that Atlanta. They are going to start off to a slow start because the teams that they're playing, but that's only building chemistry with them, and they're only going to get better. So that's why I'm going to choose the Atlanta Falcons to get a win here against the division opponent, the Saints. Like I said, guys, we are going to go back. We're going to preview the Giants versus Cowboys game a little bit later. We have Miz. He might call in a little bit later. He's just getting back from the gym. He might be calling in, and I'm going to break that game down with him. But yeah, we're going to talk about the Giants probably at the end of the stream because we're probably going to take the most time on it, being that we're all Giants fans here. A majority of us is. Next game we're going to be previewing is the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Carolina Panthers. Two teams that is just off to a horrendous start. Now, we did have Carolina last week go out there and beat a team like the Las Vegas Raiders. We had Andy Dalton starting for Bryce Young being benched, and it's looking like, man, he has that offense moving. Now, would I say that this is going to be Andy Dalton's entire season? Absolutely not. I think he came back. He came back looking hot off the couch, and I think this is a team, the Cincinnati Bengals, that just got embarrassed against the Commanders. A defense that is just looking terrible. A defense that can't look like they can stop a college team at this point. I mean, like, Joe Burrow is always going to do Joe Burrow's things. He has 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on the season. T. Higgins finally came back, but when you look at the defensive side, it's just absolutely horrendous. But I still have them going into Charlotte and beating a team like Carolina. Like, even though Andy Dalton was off to a fire start, I don't think he continues that. I think the Bengals get right here. This is a get right game for the Bengals. This is where the Bengals finally get their first win. Now, if the Bengals go out there and lose against the Panthers, then now it's time to panic if you're a Bengals fan. Like, it's definitely time to panic if you can't go out there and you can't beat a team like the Panthers. I just think that yeah, I mean, like, if you look at the Bengals season, week one lost against the Patriots. Patriots looking to have a little bit tougher defense than what people expected. Week two lost against the Chiefs. Everybody expected that. But the week three game was a game that you guys are supposedly supposed to win. The Giants just went out there and handled the Commanders in the close fought victory. But for the Commanders to do what the Commanders did, you can't have that happen, Cincinnati's defense. That being said, shout out to Jaden Daniels. He did run it up all around on that field. But that being said, too, I would highly say that I'm probably gonna go with the Bengals here to get it right against the Panthers. I just don't believe that the Panthers are gonna be. They're not gonna put up 36 points against the Bengals like that. Andy Dalton had one of his better games. Andy Dalton's not gonna do that. You got to understand that the team's motivated. The new quarterback, they're gonna go in there. They're gonna get motivated to fight for the new quarterback. Obviously, teams wants to win, but now you're going against a Cincinnati team that really needs the victory here. You can't start off the season 0-3. That being said, fam, I am going to pick the Bengals in this one. Like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. We are going to be previewing the Cowboys versus the Giants game at the end of the stream, being that I am going to take the most time on it. That being said, guys, we have another matchup here. We have the Los Angeles Chargers. Pause. We have the Los Angeles Rams going against the Chicago Bears, and this is going to be a fire game right here in itself. We have uh, we have two teams that is literally looking for a win. The Bears, literally, Caleb Williams is off to one of the most toughest starts that a rookie can be off to with that offensive line. Like, I get it, everybody, even me, including myself, was like, man, he has the team. How do you go to Chicago and fail? But we wasn't accounting that the offensive line is absolutely going to perform that horrendous. The Rams, they're looking for a win too, but the Rams, the defense gives up like yards to anybody's in this league. I mean, like, the Rams don't have any secondary that could stop any offense in this league at the moment, and it's sad to say because Sean McVay is a fire coach. Like, I absolutely rock with Sean McVay. He's absolutely a coach that I can get behind. He's the coach that I can play for if I was a player. And he's a proven coach in this league that can win big games. But when you have a team that is just giving up points after points after points, it's like, how do you win anything? How do you win anything when you have a team that can just come in and put up points. And that's what teams been doing against the Rams, man. They've been coming in and they've been actually playing whatever play they wanted, calling whatever play they wanted, and absolutely scoring at will against the Rams. They did go out there, they did beat San Francisco, but that's a San Francisco without a CMC. That's a San Francisco without a Debo. Um, for those of you who knows, you know, but for those of you who don't know, the offense what Kyle Shanahan runs, it kind of runs through CMC, it runs through Debo. The fact that they was out both, the Rams, obviously division opponent, came in there and beat them. But I'm looking at teams like the Cardinals. They put up 41 points on you guys. You guys literally looked like chickens right out his heads back then. Like I get it. You guys fixed a few things last week against the 49ers. But man, then you have a team like the Bears that literally without Caleb turning the ball over and without that offensive line performing, went out there and put up yards against the Colts. Now the Colts are on a team that like literally anybody should be scared of, but the Colts literally has an underrated defense and they do pretty good job at stopping the run. And obviously you've seen it with Swift. I mean, like the Chicago Bears one game this season has been absolutely horrendous. And it's hard to pick a winner in this one because of the fact that both teams are coming in with both. It's gonna probably be a really high scoring game. I don't see here's the thing though. I see the Chicago Bears stopping the Rams, but I also can see the Chicago Bears defense giving yards up on the ground through the running backs. I get it. Puka's still banged up. Cup is still injured, but I can still see Sean McVay and that offense moving the ball against the Chicago Bears defense. The Chicago Bears defense started off the season really hot, but at the end of the day, they kind of deteriorated over passing weeks. Now, do they come back and they look like the defense that started week one against the Tennessee Titans that went out there and was flying all across the field? Do they look like the defense of late? I think they're gonna look like the defense of late. That's why I say it is gonna be a higher scoring game in this one. The over under is 41. The Rams are getting the +3, and honestly, I'm gonna give them the +3. I know the Bears has looked absolutely horrendous as of late, but I'm gonna give the Rams the +3. I'm gonna pick the Bears. I'm gonna pick the Bears here to get a win at home. Caleb Williams. I'm gonna say he has a better game. He has a better game. Obviously Keenan Allen is still questionable. He's still injured, dealing with that injury. We got to check back on him, see if he's gonna be healthy. But they were able to move the ball effectively on the Colts. It's just they wasn't able to finish at times, and that defense didn't hold up. So that being said, I am still gonna pick the Bears to give the Rams the +3 and to defend home field. Alrighty, guys, let me get a hydration check, and when we come back, we are gonna match up with the talk about the Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers. Alrighty, we got the Minnesota Vikings that's actually been looking like the best team in the NFL as of late. They're going out there and they're winning these games. They absolutely demolished the Texans last week. Before that, they won against San Francisco. And so you have a team, the Vikings, which I don't know if it was on your guys' radar, but they sure wasn't on my radar. Like no one. What's up, Nomads? Thank you so much for being here, my friend. No one, at least in my camp, I mean, like no Mets watched the premium takes all summer. No one in our camp thought that the Vikings was gonna be world beaters like they were. And not only that, but they're beating legit teams. San Francisco 49ers is a legit team. The Texans looks like a legit team. And then what they do is they just absolutely tear the roofs off these guys. Like keep in mind the 23-17 score against San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco scored majority of their points in the second half. Like the Vikings owned that game at one point. You looked at the Texans, the Vikings owned that entire game. You look at the Giants, me as a Giants fan, week one, I'm like, dude, the sky is falling, right? We can't get anything. Sam Donald is looking like he's gonna win the MVP. And then it continues. It continues, and that's what's been the most shocking to me is Sam Donald. He's 8-2 on the season, 657 57 yards with a passer rating of 117.3. He threw 4 interceptions last week against the Texans, and that 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 is the most biggest surprise to me, that the Vikings are coming out looking how the Vikings are looking, man. They're looking damn good. They're playing good football. Their coach is coaching them hard and tough, and they're looking like that's the team to beat. And it's nuts to say, but it's the Vikings right now, like as one of the better teams in the NFL, and that is just like a mind blowing to me. But that being said, though, they were going against the division rival in the Green Bay Packers that just took out the Tennessee Titans, took out the Colts, and they did lose a close bite beater in Brazil against the Eagles in Week 1. But I still say that the Vikings are gonna probably give the Minnesota Vikings the toughest matchup yet. I love these division games because you really can tell what these teams are made of, because these teams see each other. They have the most familiarity with each other. They see each other twice a year. I get it. We have roster changes, but majority of the players that is still big time for both respective teams is still on the team, right? This is gonna be a fun matchup. Yair Alexander had an amazing game last week for Green Bay, and let's see if that continues. I think honestly, guys, as much as the Vikings been playing outstanding, I'm gonna choose. It's hard to say. It's hard for me to say this, but I didn't know that Will Levis was not Will Levis. I didn't know he was gonna do that last night. Yesterday, last Sunday. I apologize. I don't know where my mind's at, but I didn't know that Malik Willis was gonna look like that. That guy ran in for a touchdown. He threw for a couple of touchdowns. And that defense was fired up. And I'm I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pick the upset of the week. Green Bay, used to the Vikings. They see them twice the year. I'm gonna take Green Bay on this one. I'm gonna take Green Bay to defend home field, Lambeau, and get it done. They're gonna hand the Vikings the first loss. As amazing as the Vikings been playing, as good as the Vikings been looking, I'm still gonna have Green Bay in this one. Green Bay gets the win, handing the Vikings their first loss. Alrighty, we have Jacksonville Jaguars that absolutely got demolished against Buffalo Bills last week, and then we got the Houston Texans that got absolutely demolished against the Vikings last week. Who do we choose in this one? I'm gonna choose the Texans, even though the Texans got demolished against the Vikings. Jacksonville looks just off. They look bad. Their defense can't look like they can stop anybody. Trevor Lawrence is not turning the ball over, but he is so at a massive rate. He's not looking promising right now. There's still a lot of chemistry that has to be worked out between Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence and his receivers. And the defense, it doesn't look like they can stop anybody. I mean, like, yeah, they had good outs, but as the weeks go on, it's deteriorating. If I had to choose a winner in this one, I'm not even gonna take a deep dive on it. I'm gonna just choose the Houston Texans straight up. I'll give Jacksonville that 6 points, and I'm gonna ride with Houston. Let's move on. Alrighty, this is gonna be a lovely game right here. We got the Colts versus Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is gonna be a good game, like kind of what I said last week with Aaron Rodgers. How Aaron Rodgers will finally he got his arm adjusted. He finally got himself right, and then he went out there and he had a good game. I kind of feel the same way for Justin Fields. It's now the fourth week. Justin Fields doesn't really have any playmakers on that side of the ball except for Pickens, but you see other playmakers like Kelvin Austin stepping up and making plays, and that's how you earn your right on the field. That's how you earn the ball. That's how Mike Tomlin scripts you into the play the game plan, the play calling. Um, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? The defense is literally one of the best defenses in the league, and the offense is now picking up steam. Now I get it. You're Justin Fields. You're new to the team. You know what I'm saying? You still gotta adjust to certain things that the team does. And at the end of the day, you was honestly you're both new to the team, but the Steelers did a good job on giving him some snaps in the offseason. Because obviously when Wilson went down, he was able to kind of build chemistry, but it's different than practice than live game. In a live game, it's totally different. So now that you're 3 weeks in, you kind of have more familiarity with your wide receivers. Your running backs are stepping up. Tight ends looking good, offensive line looking like they can block, and defense looking like they can stop anybody, the who's who. When you have the coach, you have a defense that literally is just giving up yards to the Bears at this point. You know what I'm saying? And literally the offense, like Anthony Richardson, AR-15, he's just taking shots like Caleb Williams. Same thing. He's just taking shots that he shouldn't take. You need to have more ball control. You don't need to go out there and sling the football all over the yard and force the ball into windows that shouldn't need forcing into. He's a dynamic playmaker, and this is going to be a really good test for the Steelers to go against a mobile quarterback. And I want to see. I think the Steelers come out with this one. I'm gonna give the coach the plus the 1.5. I'm gonna have the Steelers going in, and I'm gonna have the offense. The coach defense, like I said, you can move the ball on them. It's not hard to move the ball on the coach defense. And I see Justin Fields getting right in this game. Not like he's slacking, but he hasn't really had that big game yet. And this is the time where I believe that Justin Fields and Pickens and Austin will get involved, and even Nigel Harris in the passing game as well. I think they can come out and they can have a big game. And I believe they also have what's his name? He just Patterson. I think, yeah, Patterson got involved in the passing game as well for the Steelers, the running game at least. I'm sorry, last week against I believe they played the Chargers. Yeah. Um, Cordell Patterson, I believe, was involved a little bit too. Yeah, Cordell Patterson, that's him. And obviously, you got Kelvin Austin showing up for catches, 95 yards and a touchdown. We have Pat Falmuth showing up, and that's what we kind of need, right? We need more help, man. Justin Fields can't just keep on throwing it to Pickens. We need help, and other playmakers are stepping up. So shout out to that. Alrighty. Give me the Steelers. We got the Broncos versus the Jets. This is gonna be I, I don't know, maybe like a snooze fest. As much as the Jets got themselves suggested last week, they're still going against the Broncos got themselves suggested last week. They're still going against a tough team in the Jets. That Aaron Rodgers looks like he's ready. He looks like he's adjusted. He looks like he's ready to take this team to the next level. Obviously, they did have a tough matchup in week one against the 49ers, but the way they rebounded from that, they went out there, they beat the Titans, they went out there and they absolutely demolished the Patriots. And I think with the Broncos, coming off of that big win against Tampa Bay, looking like, man, we got ourselves going, is going go up against a tough defense in the Jets. That it's going to be right back how it was looking in week one against the Seahawks, in week two against the Steelers. So without further ado, I'm not even gonna drag this one on. Just give me the Jets straight up. The Jets are gonna smash the Broncos, and they're playing at MetLife. Yeah, the Jets are gonna kill the Broncos. Let me get a hydration check, and when we get back, we're gonna talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Alrighty, guys. We are saving the Dallas Cowboys Thursday night matchup. Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants. We are gonna save that to the very end of the video, so make sure you guys stick around, and we'll be covering that game. Alrighty, we got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is going to be a fun matchup. We have the the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that absolutely got demolished against the Colts. Not the Colts. I'm sorry, against the Broncos. What we were just talking about, and then we have the Philadelphia Eagles. Losing against the Falcons in that last minute drive against Kirk Cousins, but coming up there and holding the Saints to 12 points when the Saints were scoring over 40 points for the first couple of weeks. So now we have the Eagles going against Tampa Bay at home, looking to rebound from that absolutely pathetic loss to the Denver Broncos. And honestly, this is a good game for Baker Mayfield, but I just see the Eagles being too tough of a team for Tampa Bay right now. Like, Tampa Bay did start off the season really good, looking good. Baker Mayfield has all the weapons he needs to move the ball on offense, but it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense that I'm concerned about. I don't see the Tampa Bay's defense being able to stop the Philadelphia Eagles offense more times than the Philadelphia Eagles defense could stop the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. And I get it. They might be without Lane Johnson. AJ Brown is still injured. I know Landon Dixon is banged up, but I just think with Saquon Barkley and what the Eagles are going to be doing, It's going to be hard for Tampa Bay to stop. Give me the Eagles to come into Raymond James Stadium and to absolutely demolish the Buccaneers. Alrighty, this is a fun matchup. And what is Tampa Bay giving them again? The plus two. They're giving them plus two. Yeah, so Eagles are giving Tampa plus two. I'm at the Eagles. I'm gonna give them the two. I'm gonna take the Eagles. Alrighty, guys. We have the Washington Commanders versus the Arizona Cardinals. This is gonna be a fun matchup as well. We have the Commanders and Jaden Daniels absolutely looking fire. Let's pull in Raphael. What's up, Raphael? Thank you so much for being here,
Hey,
my
what's
friend.
up?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Um,
Yep.
stay. If you stay the whole stream, after we end this, I do want to talk to you. So just stay posted, all right?
Okay. All right. All
And
right.
then like you said, yeah, I want to talk
Yep.
to you behind the scenes of about the Combat Club, our MMA show that we do. And Raphael, thank you so much, man. My work schedule, as I told you guys in the past, Raphael been absolutely holding it down on that show. So I really appreciate that, my friend. But look, we have the Commanders, right, that went out there and laid points on a Cincinnati Bengals team that we thought that Cincinnati was going to get right, but it looked like their defense is still struggling. And the Commanders was able to take advantage of that. Jaden Daniels is looking absolutely fire. One of the better looking rookie quarterbacks that we've seen out of this year's class, at least for the most part. And if you look at that, we have already fans saying that the Commanders have a better team than Chicago, which is absolutely horseshit. Chicago has a way better roster than the Commanders. The only thing that the Commanders have better than Chicago is probably their offensive line. Outside of that, I have Chicago as a way better team. And what Jaden Daniels are able to do and is able to been doing with the Commanders is absolutely awesome. But he's going against a tough matchup in Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is
Hmm.
looking like he's back. We have Marvin Harrison that is absolutely a stud. He's him. And we have a defense that's just going to play you tough no matter what, no matter who it is. The Cardinals are going to show up. They're going to be looking to put up points, and the defense is going to show up. This is a tough matchup for the Commanders. I'm gonna let Raphael say his point, but if I had to choose, I'm gonna actually take the
Hmm.
Commanders. I'm gonna take the Commanders with the points. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take the plus point three, and I'm gonna have the Commanders on this one. Go right ahead, Raphael.
All right. So between for that game, let's just really hope about it. I mean, they've been seeing like this pattern with inconsistent teams. I know they just won against Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow, which is absolutely insane. But they really look at the week 1 and they just trashed the Nets in the other day. But since they just play about for the week number 3, because they just really expected about for the real good win about for the next week. But between for the audacity and of course the offensive scheme between Clint Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels, they really changed the parallels right now. I mean, to be honest, I mean, can imagine it might have some insight into slowing down Kyler Murray because he was good at himself, but just can't let Jaden get comfortable. I mean, it's those teams that have no real defensive pressure. I mean, there's 91% completion rate. It's not gonna be like really easier, but hopefully it's gonna be like a Kyler Ace game and Daniels get overconfident. But it's very delightful to see that watch the Torches secondary. His double moves are very too much for the secondary, but I doubt would give it like a lot of work. But it looks like the Washington Commanders look legit with Jaden Daniels. But it seems that when it comes to within 10 men on the field after a timeout that nobody knows going to be line up, Cliff is still Cliffs. So I would give it like a lot of props to Washington Commanders. I mean, they should really good at all because Jaden Daniels and Clint Kingsbury, I mean, they just solidified as an offensive coordinator, as a quarterback. They just really change up the tone for the team.
I love the fact that you brought up Cliff too, because I could see a scenario where Jaden Daniels is handing
Yeah.
Cliff the game ball at the end of the game, saying like, "Here, this one's for you. I wanted to win it against the team that he used to coach for. I wanted to win it. Jaden Daniels wanting it to win in it, wanted wanting to win it. I'm sorry for his offensive coordinator that used to coach that basically the Arizona Cardinals gave up on. Obviously Cliff had his problems himself, but at the end of the day, you know, some would say he didn't get a fair shot at completing, kind of like Brian Flores. It's like you don't really get your fair shot of being a head coach because everybody expects winning seasons and playoff seasons so fast that's like sometimes people forget like let these that there's certain scenarios where maybe you don't let the coach coach out his contract. So certainly like Urban Myers down in Jacksonville, that is like, yeah, get rid of him. Josh over in Oakland, like, yeah, get rid of him. But at the end of the day, when you have someone like, I could see Arizona fans and some people be like, yeah, Cliff, get rid of him. But people are so fast to, oh, it's all about we need to win right now. But sometimes it does take 3 to 4 years to really build out an NFL team. Like, I get it, you can go buy a roster and build the NFL team in 2 years, like Sean McVay did. But at the end of the day, for long term success, these coaches do need 3 to 4 years to really build out the roster that they want to build out. When you play NCAA, right, and you go and you pick someone like Hawaii or someone like Baylor or someone like Memphis, Tigers. Yeah, like, yes, maybe they have the roster as far as Memphis Tigers to go and compete against some of these top teams, but to win a championship, it is going to take years to build out. But let's get into the Patriots versus the 49ers. I'm going to let you handle this one first. Go right
Mhm.
ahead, Raphael.
I mean, this is gonna be like an epic battle, but it seems that they have a lot of this for the defense. It seems that no one can really about it. I mean, if the Patriots slaughtered the second lowest scoring team in the league with the fewest yards in the per game, that's very risky at all. Because if they wanted to really expect it about it, I mean, expect for the San Francisco 49ers to bounce back at a comfortable win with the defense posting by for 37 points. But don't hesitate to actually pursue that team that could be easily like the top scorer across for like the offense and defense. But between for the injury report of Christian McCaffrey, also they just left it alone with Brock Purdy and the offensive scheme of Cal Shenanigan. I mean, that could really change it at all because it was like really crazy at all. But it was like a between for everything. I mean, they should have had won it at all. But imagine like the reaction was gonna to compare about this right now. Imagine it could happen. I mean, they absolutely were anybody, but they just like to suffer a lower leg injury. The number says that it's gonna be really bad. But also the linebacker Gerald Major is out for the year. But it seems that this is gonna be like really complicated. But it seems that the defense can really build it out if they have like a salvation. But they gotta to figure it out the news and some luck. But it seems that now this is not gonna really at all. But it seems like it's time to retire for everything. So it feels like really bad. But it feels like between for the offensive scheme, between for college shenanigans, this obviously going to be won. I mean, it's going to be like a lot of hard decisions, but it's going to be like the playing teams had to play for the star quarterback and still had to successful because it's easier to have a quarterback basically free because Brock Purdy is not going to be like very mid, mediocre. It's going to be like that, but no. But it really has to do it all because blow it up with another 10-point lead. But it's gonna be like a really risky at all. But I'll give it like the San Francisco 49ers had to have won against New Orleans Patriots. Because I know during for the jury reports, I know it's gonna be like really frisky at all. But the main problem is what are the best poaching away? I mean, they had to continue to train it up and they have it together for a while, which is a huge advantage.
Yeah, I'm gonna give the edge to San Francisco as well. The Patriots did come out and win against the Bengals, but when you look at the Bengals and you look at the defense now, you're like, dude, the Bengals really. I could see why the Patriots won that game. They won. I mean, lost that game. Won that game. I'm sorry. Then they go and they lose against the Seahawks and they get pummeled against the Jets. And then you have San Francisco 49ers that beat the Jets in week one, obviously lost
Mhm.
CMC and lost a few players, and then lose Debo. So you have what we just got done talking about earlier is you have an offense that runs through CMC. If CMC is not there, then it runs through Debo, and now both of them is out. And shout out to Jennings, man. He stepped up last week. He had over almost 150 yards, a little bit around there, and then he had 3 touchdowns on the day. You have playmakers on that San Francisco 49ers on the offensive side of the ball that needs to step up and needs to play better. You have them going out and looking horrendous in the first 2 quarters against the Vikings, and then coming back the final 2 quarters and almost still in that victory under the Vikings' toes. And then you go and the same kind of like the similar thing against the Rams. But when you go against a team like the Patriots, I don't think that the Patriots have the firepower to take out a team like the 49ers. This is a get right game for the 49ers. As far as 10.5, That is probably going to be the highest spread on the week. I don't know if I'm comfortable giving the Patriots that whole 10.5, but as far as the winner of the game, I'm just going to say San Francisco wins it. San Francisco wins it straight up. And yeah, let's move on. Nothing against the Patriots, but I don't think that they have a team right now that can compete with the what the
And
49ers are going to bring on defense. Alrighty, we got Cleveland Browns, a team that the Giants just took out in amazing fashion. And then we have a team that the homie Raphael is a fan of, the Las Vegas Raiders, man. Now I
yes,
would say this before you begin. The Raiders, it's not as bad as it looks. I would say that. I think the Raiders are gonna. I think Antonio Pierce has the Raiders playing like a super tough team right now. And I think this is gonna be a game that the Raiders can easily win. Nothing against Cleveland. We had the Raiders just beat a team, one of the best teams in the league. In I would say at the end of the season, Baltimore is gonna be there, regardless on how they started. Baltimore will be there. They beat them. They had a tough matchup against Chargers. Chargers has a tough defense, and to be honest, that was just a fluke loss. I honestly feel that was just a fluke loss against the Panthers, and Antonio Pierce wasn't gonna let that fly. They got yelled at, I promise you. They got coached hard in practice, I promise you, this week. Raphael can
mhm.
probably attest to it. And they're gonna come out and they're gonna play Raiders football because I guarantee you that not nobody in that locker room and that front office was proud to what Andy Dalton did to that team last week. And I don't think it happens this week. So I'm gonna let the current Raiders fan go right ahead. Go right ahead, Raphael.
Yeah, after a disastrous performance against the Panthers, I mean, there's a few things they need to involve about for the third and fourth quarter time management. And after that, I just saw an injury report, which is from Wednesday to right now. I got a feeling that if we can get into it, not very cocky about for the next game against for the Cleveland Browns, I mean, it seems that they have it very afraid after the goal because right now every game is just like in a nail baiter. But if they had to the way to have him playing because they're coming off and it's like a anything could happen. But hopefully, because after we just saw for Gardner Minshew, if he missed too many throws after all for the sea, I don't think that the Raiders could win the game unless they're going to have for the complete luck like Baltimore and then conservative play call in the fourth quarter. Because remember the time that we just won against Baltimore Ravens in a fashionable stable, which is on the fourth quarter of time management. I mean, it kind of like a close.
Oh no, it looks like Raphael had some technical difficulties. We definitely will wait for him and he'll come back. Yeah, time management. He was gonna say, I believe, when he was talking about his Raiders, but I don't want to finish because I don't want to guess to see where he was going to go. I'd rather him say it himself. So what we can do is we could talk about the Cleveland Browns. Does Myles Garrett get there? I believe that the Raiders' offensive line has the capabilities to hold up. If you look what the Giants was able to do against Myles Garrett last week, I can see the Raiders kind of doing similar things. The Raiders definitely have the firepower to score on them. They have what I truly believe to be a generational tight end that they did draft in Brock Bowers. They still have Adams, Devontae. They have young stud running backs that they are looking to probably get the ball to more as the year goes on. They still have Myers that's still on roster as well. It really comes down to the quarterback play, right? On both teams, actually. If you look at Deshaun Watson, he hasn't been looking like the Deshaun Watson that we all known to love down in Houston. He was the Deshaun Watson that, after his whole legal cases, we won't get into that here, but after his whole legal cases, he ended up, not looking the very same. And if you look at the Raiders against the Panthers last week, we can say that Gardner Minshew didn't really have one of his better games, throwing for only 214 yards, even one touchdown, one interception. I think if Gardner Minshew comes out and has a stronger performance than he did last week against the Carolina Panthers, which I feel that he will, they'll go ahead and they'll beat a team like the Cleveland Browns. And I believe the same strategy that fell for the Giants is run the football, get Myles Garrett tired, and you can beat the Browns. The Browns is a beatable team this year. The defense, even though it's still respected, they don't look as strong as they once was. Then let's move on to the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Oh, never mind. Raphael is back. I was just gonna wait for him to get back. And Raphael, let's have you continue what you were saying about you. I think he was on time
Yeah, I was
management.
saying about it,
Hmm.
and don't be expected at all, because I know
Hmm.
that some of the players, which is Las Vegas Raiders, are being injured or not being 100% healthy. But I really realized that the whole defense of the Raiders can really change the tone also for the time management. So I have very confidence between Las Vegas Raiders winning against Cleveland Browns, just like for a minimal. Because right now, if they want to be like 100% healthy, if they want to change it off for the playbook, I'll be proud of that. I'll be certainly very good at all.
I love it. Absolutely. I have the Raiders. You have the Raiders as well. You have the Raiders. Your team
Yep.
winning. Oh yeah. Alrighty, this is gonna be a lovely game. I love this matchup. You know, you have the Kansas City Chiefs, absolutely the hardest, what looks to be like some of the toughest scheduling in the NFL. If you look at their schedule, you know, they go and they I believe they play Baltimore in week one. They played the Bengals week two, they played Atlanta week three. Obviously we get just got done talking about the Bengals defense not looking as strong as it is, but the Chiefs was able to, you know, get things done. They still have no key injuries. Rice looks like he's him. Obviously, Travis Kelsey is off to a slow start. They did make a change at one of the veterans on the line. It wasn't really getting affected as much as they thought he was, so they did move him out. And they have Xavier Worthy, the rookie, that is just looking fire than ever. They got their running backs there as well, and their defense, man. Their defense is playing good football, and good teams find ways to win games. And that's exactly what the Chiefs are. They're going down to bite beaters against the Bengals and against the Atlanta Falcons, but obviously they were mostly in control of that one. But that being said, good teams find a way to win games, and Kansas City is finding a way to win games. They're going against a young team with Jim, first year
Mhm.
coaching. Obviously, Jim is respectable, well respected coach. Took 49ers to the playoffs, took Michigan to a natty championship and won. Obviously, you guys all know who Jim is. And I think Jim has the Chargers ready. Have SoFi pump up, and I'm gonna call it right here. As much as good as the Kansas City Chiefs been looking, as they've been escaping these games, and they've been looking good. Don't get me wrong, but division is a whole different animal. I have the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, obviously winning the division, but I'm gonna have Jim getting his boys white for this one. They just lost to the Steelers, like I said, one of the better defenses in the league. And this is gonna be a good test for the San Francisco's defense. Now you guys are gonna go playing against one of the great quarterbacks, the greatest in this current generation. So go out there and prove yourselves.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert is still banged up, but I think he'll be able to make the game. I think you rely on the one game. And this is going to be a matchup where the Chiefs should win. The Chiefs should win 9 out of the 10 times. The Chiefs should win this game. But something is telling me go with the Chargers, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Chargers with the points here. I'm going to take the Chargers +6. That could be the stupidest bet I ever make all day. I don't know if I'm gonna even make this bet, but if I had to make a bet, I'm gonna pick the Chargers, Raphael. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pick the Chargers to hand the Chiefs their first loss of the season. What do you got on this one?
Between for the Kansas City Chiefs versus Los Angeles Chargers, I mean, between Andy Reid versus Jim Harbaugh, I mean, it's gonna be like a very surprising. I mean, it seems that the offensive coordinator, I mean, it just had to go for it. They just have to go boom, just like that. I mean, if they wanted to play like very physical at all, because what I just saw like one of the film studies about for like Garrett and between for one of those players, it became like very physical at all. I mean, those guys had really good weapons, but they had to figure it out how they're gonna stop about for like the run defense, the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, if will depend and suffer ever end right now. So I don't think it's gonna be happy right now. But if they're gonna to use it like at a 100%, because they're very cautious about for like injury status of those players. I mean, the tension between for Ed's Clay for like this one and that's where the contention, but it's gonna be really throwback. But it seems that like it really easy at all. But it sounds like if they have a very favorite that against for like the Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, that should be really know about it. I mean, this should be like it is something like really sharp because if they want to see like everyone seems they're not going for the like, play the key offensive starters, I mean, give like their own lines some credit for the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, they have no safety, which is having like the field goal game. But as me look at it, it smells like another trap game. But it feels like it got a massive blow up to some people like you're really thinking about it. But if they had it a more little healthy, they have a solid chance out of it because they look at the most like very team. Because if we're the run to the team right now, but it's not gonna be like really good. But it seems that Justin Herbert versus Patrick Mahomes, it seems like it's not gonna be like a really easy at all. But it seems like they're gonna really expect it at all. But if they're gonna set up with a running back, because the offense it really scares it a lot because they're able to more carry about for the defense. So don't even expect it about for Los Angeles Chargers could really change the tone. Very more less expected. So they never see that really coming at all. So I would choose a lot between for Los Angeles Chargers against Kansas City Chiefs. So I would feel like the W for the Chargers because I know they have much confidence about for the team of Jim Harbaugh and of course for Justin Herbert because those guys really know how to really stop the run.
I love it. Absolutely. And if you don't get that running game right now for the Chiefs, this is not playoffs. Patrick is not Super Saiyan mode just yet. Um, Obviously, well, I see Kansas City. Travis Kelsey. He hasn't looked the best lately. Well, hopefully, maybe he comes out looking good in this one. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we're still gonna go with the Chargers. Man, this is gonna be a fun matchup right here, guys. And like I said, guys, we are gonna go back and we are gonna preview the Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants at the end of the stream. But we're gonna get you this Sunday night matchup, and then with the two Monday night games, double headers again this week, and then we'll choose to we'll go back and we'll preview that Giants and Cowboys tonight's matchup. That being said, though, we have the Buffalo Bills absolutely looking crazy good last week against the Jacksonville
Mm.
Jaguars, scoring that bill, stopping them. It looked bad. And then we have a Baltimore Ravens team that just went out there and beat the Dallas Cowboys in great fashion. Looked good in that game as well. Finally utilizing, I believe, Derrick Henry to his full potential, but I think they still need to utilize him more. As much as I love, Lamar Jackson in the shotgun, I still rather see them, you know, Lamar Jackson on the center, and he just got to get used to that because I think with both of them on the field, you have the better chance of scoring, and you're gonna need every single chance you have against the Bills to score the ball because the Bills are a team that does have one of the better, if not the best, pass protection blocking in the NFL. And when you give Josh Allen 2 seconds, yet alone 9 seconds, he's the Buffalo Bills are going to score in any defense in the league. I mean, like I would love to see the Buffalo Bills versus the Steelers right now at this point. That would be a fantastic matchup. But that being said, the Buffalo Bills are going to score at will if you give Josh Allen that much time. And guess what? Josh Allen has that much time, and the receivers, his new receivers like Coleman, his rookies, are getting more comfortable. We see Dalton Kincaid getting involved in the playground play calling now, and we see a defense that can actually go out there, and I get it, they still have some key injuries, but go out there and make some big time key stops. And I believe the train continues to roll here in Buffalo. As good as the Baltimore Ravens looked last week, I can see some that say the Ravens are going to continue to fly and they're going to play the upset. But I know, I honestly, I still think the Buffalo Bills are going to come into MT Bank Stadium, if that's still the name of it, and M&T Bank Stadium, and upset the Ravens at home in front of the home crowd. I could be totally wrong on this one, but I just think that the Buffalo Bills are going to score it. Bill, go right ahead.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a tough decision who's gonna be like the greatest game of the week because it's gonna be
Mhm.
like a strong contender to be the game of the week. Because the key on that game, because if they're gonna make game adjustments, just like the Baltimore Ravens that just did against Arizona, because they're gonna make it a route. Because if the Buffalo Bills had to control and limit Derrick Henry or Lamar runs should dominate. I mean, the defensive line, you better eat like some like cereal to everything, but easier is gonna dump because the Buffalo Bills they had a lot of success and in other to several occasions, but at the same time, it could be like a real test against Lamar Jackson because it seems that it calls for like getting down for the early negative game, the script. You got to force it to get move it away with this running back with Lamar. I mean, Matt Denver has a pretty good track record of containing Jackson. I mean, they had to say to make fights is not very different. On the offense, the Baltimore Ravens want to really impose the battering with the Bills offense. Seems like they're gonna build to attack the weakness or the run to the pass. But I can see like a throwing like a did like the last week and trying to exploit Baltimore's secondary. So it's gonna be like a dominate the line of the scrimmage for stopping Henry for ripping off of a run and catching passes and screens off of the backfield for games. But there's no reason they can pull it out for the 30 points and they're gonna control the clock. So they're longer established a solid running game. Fortunately, it's gonna be really happening at all. So I would give it like a lot of credit to the Buffalo Bills if they have a close game. So I would choose between Buffalo Bills gets the W in a close game against Baltimore Ravens, but don't even expect if Josh Allen could make it a lot of production against Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely. So we're both gonna take the plus 2.5 at the Buffalo Bills to that one. Alrighty. We have a team in the Tennessee Titans that is 0-3 coming in to battle a banged up Miami Dolphins. And as much as I respect Mike as a coach, I'm going to have Tennessee getting their first win here. Honestly, Will Levis making throws that he shouldn't be making, having his coach calling him out at press conferences, looking absolutely terrible. Defense trying to survive. But guess what he did last week that I kind of felt would be kind of a good stepping stone to come in against the Dolphins. He got the ball and he got DeAndre Hopkins a touchdown. And that's what you want. You want to see DeAndre Hopkins get back involved in the playground. I get it. Hopkins is on the lower half, the ending half of his career, but Hopkins is still Hopkins. And I still think you need to get that guy the ball. He has like a 3X glove, man. Get that guy the football. The move he put on to score last week was absolutely fun to watch. We still have Calvin Ridley there doing Calvin Ridley things. I honestly don't think Miami Dolphins has a good quarterback to get it done. It really goes to show you that Tua and what he was able to do being mobile back there really helped the Dolphins score and get it to the playmakers. I would like to see Murray versus jet sweeps. This is just play it like Wake Forest at that point. Miami just won the football with Tyreek Hill and Waddle and Wilson and A-Chain and all the fast playmakers you have on that side of the football. I mean, like nothing against Sky, but he doesn't really look like he could get it done at this level, at least this time in his career right now. This is the reason why you guys picked him in the 7th round. I don't there's rumors about Miami trading for a quarterback or trying to acquire another quarterback. Ryan Tannehill is still on the couch. If you looked at what Andy Dalton did, obviously Andy Dalton was the second stringer. He didn't come off the couch, but you see Sam Darnold, you see Andy Dalton, you see all these quarterbacks, Geno Smith, you see all these quarterbacks kind of having a rebirth in their career. Who knows? Ryan Tannehill could come off the couch, go back to his old team, and the season might still be saved. But they really do need to make a change at quarterback or make a change calling plays because last week it looked absolutely terrible. If Miami continues down this, any team is going to beat Miami. So I'm going to take Tennessee. I'm going to take Tennessee to come in and beat Miami at Hard Rock Stadium. Call me crazy, but I think that there's going to be a closer game. I don't think Tennessee is going to smash and Miami's going to smash. Pause. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. Miami may break a big run or two. Tennessee may break a big pass or two. I see Pollard more involved for Tennessee. He was a no-show last week. And I see Tennessee getting the victory here. Go right ahead, Raphael.
I mean, they're currently because after we see for the injury of Tua, I mean, there's nothing had to go for Peterman himself. I mean, Tennessee Titans are just really heard about it because it won't be like a really same it at all. But they're pretty like very confident if Miami Dolphins gonna lose the game. Might be like at a blowout, but it's gonna be like at a point for 30 points. But it seems that the Tennessee Titans, they just got a really enough because for Ryan Tannehill. I mean, he threw for like 50, 100 yards because he goes for the lead for the Dolphins. Go for he loses to Dan Kendry. Because if it's like a really important about for the how the defense is gonna way too soon to how to figure it out for the offensive team. I mean, people are just gotta like really important. I mean, if they just gotta like a Nicolas Petit Frere, which is having the highest pressures allowed for him this one, I mean, there could be like a Trent Thomas of the defense running the ball more. because the defense are making like if you earn it like in the passing games or more offense to be like not that really intentional because sex really matters because it's having a lot of stats because they're not trying to be like an apologize with Will Lewis, but it's still have that actually how to be patient, develop both quarterbacks, not just the very quicker, but also it had to submit another goal for the like the coast for anything with the starter, but it's getting like very comfortable. I mean, it seems that it's not gonna be like a really easy job. It's gonna be like a huge point about it. But it seems that between for the defense, Ryan Tannehill and Will Lewis, they had to go to blasting it all because it's not gonna be like a really scary at all. But it's gonna be like a day happens, we get the turnover because it will control the game, but the last drive it couldn't punch in and win it. So they have the very confidence about for like the Tennessee Titans because it had to see like pretty very smart. If it has a very scored about it, they have to live it at all. So I would tell for this one, Tennessee Titans is gonna be like the biggest
I
upset
love it.
because right now it doesn't seem like because they have the 0 and 3. So right now they had to flip the change between because right now they had to take advantage about for the injury reports of Miami Dolphins. I mean, that could be really changing it all. So I would give like the Titans win against Miami Dolphins.
I love it. Yeah, I have the Titans there to take the Titans plus the one. Alrighty, and it goes to our final game of the week before Thursday night, and we are gonna go back and we are gonna preview tonight's matchup against the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. But before we get to the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants, we're gonna get to the New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys. We're gonna get to the Seattle Seahawks versus the Detroit Lions. Man, this is gonna be a fun matchup. I think this is one of the better games of the week. We have the Seattle Seahawks coming in undefeated, going against a tough Lions team. I'm honestly gonna let my man Raphael start this one off. Go right ahead, bro.
I mean, that should be like a really important right now, but it seems like the Barry had a classic rivalry between for Detroit Lions versus Seattle Seahawks. But it seems that they had to figure it out about for the defense. I mean, they're just mind blowing. But it seems that between for the Detroit Lions, it seems that it's gonna be like a game changer at all because it seems that they haven't a bit for the past 2 seasons, and it just seems like it doesn't really good about it. It doesn't feel because it should be easy like it be for the Lions. I don't know because I have it a good disseminated for the injuries by Geno Smith, and besides sort of that, I mean the games are really close and they have the significant injuries, so it's not gonna be really short. But the Lions should be easily beat the Seahawks because their team is going to be because right now the online for the Seattle Seahawks is the principal weakness because the Detroit Lions had one of the few years and they just put on the playoffs where they only were playing by the defense because they had it the same sentence because it doesn't beat anyone because if they had it as code for like anything for Jared Goff because he just won it all because he's just like one of those prototypes to make sure the defense is going to be very well because they're looking very forward to see how the defense is going to manage for an average game because this is not going to be like a really roast at all because it seems that between for the game right now it seems that it's not going to be like a really easy but it seems that over the past 2 seasons it's going to be like really big at all. But I know the defense of the Detroit Lions, it seems like very unreal, very different. But it seems that the defensive scheme is controlling changing a lot. But it seems that they had to controlling change around for the time management. It seems that they had to prove it out of the game right now. Because realistic, they have it as something they had to blood out but for the other teams and make like something to work about it. Because it's not like because they have playing war beaters that had to do some very strange games. And the offense of the Seattle Seahawks has been so great because at the same time they have the pretty competition that they shine to the most part. But it seems that the Detroit Lions get like the W. I'll be sure about that because imagine it's going to be like a close game, but I hope it's going to be like really entertaining and competitive because Jared Goff don't be inspected because Jared Goff it'll be like there's so much production about it. Then they're going to be literally destroyed against Geno Smith because Jared Goff has more ability, has more production than Geno Smith. And don't be wrong about it. Don't be wrong because it's all about for the stats production. So I'll be very comfortable if you're gonna win against Seattle Seahawks. So I would do between Detroit Lions winning against Seattle Seahawks. I mean, should be interesting. So I would give like the W with the Lions.
Yeah, I absolutely follow that pick. I absolutely love the Lions in this game. Now, Seattle Seahawks is coming in undefeated, but they do got to make the flight across country, and they are coming in. They're not playing at home, so I don't know how much fans are in Detroit for Seattle, but that being said, I know Detroit Lions fans are gonna have that Ford Field packed to the max. They're gonna be screaming for what they believe is their playoff team, is their Super Bowl team this year. Jared Goff, I believe he's gonna have a really big game. I think Seattle Seahawks are gonna come in for a rude awakening, and exactly what Raphael said. I am gonna give them the minus 3.5. I'm going to take minus 3.5. I'll give them that. I'll give Seattle that, and I'll have them come and try to beat the Lions, but I have the Lions defending home field advantage and beating the Seattle Seahawks. So I am going to follow you, Raphael, and I do agree on what you said about it. Alrighty, get us through tonight's game. Alrighty, Miz, if you're still watching and you want to call in, make sure you can give us a call right now. Please click that link on Twitter, and we really want you to on the show to break this down because I know you called in right before I went live, but I was having some technical difficulties. So if you're still watching, if you're out there, please, if you hear this, go ahead and call in, my man. And for the rest of the Big Blue Crew, if you guys are watching, if you guys are on Twitter and you guys want to join, please call in right now. Awesome. We got Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. The New York Giants, I mean, like, started off the season really heartbreaking. Really, the sky was falling. I mean, like, I was calling for Daniel's head. You know, the defense looked horrendous. The offense looked like it was JV calling. And then we go out there and we beat the Washington Commanders, which I'm like, okay, that's the Commanders. And then I'm like, you guys need to go prove it against a tough team like the Browns. And then they go and they beat the Browns. And I'm not going to take anything away from the Giants, but the Browns are looking like they're not as tough as we thought they was going to be. So this is a team with the Dallas Cowboys that I'm just going to say this before I go week and week. I think the Giants need to prove it to me every week. I'm not going to rinse the repeat, but Daniel Jones and this offense and the defense needs to prove it to me week in and week out that they can look and operate like an NFL team. They did it for 2 straight weeks, and I absolutely am proud of my team for doing that. Daniel Jones, 0 interceptions over the last couple of weeks. I'm actually proud for him. I can say that he's 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions over the last 2 games. But now he's going against the Dallas Cowboys. That this is kind of like the worst time to get Dallas. Dallas Cowboys doesn't look like the Dallas Cowboys team of late. They don't look like they have that dominating defense like they had last season. They still have the key players on that side of the football. Not that much players left. Majority of the offense and defense remained the same, but they're not looking as strong as they once was. And is that maybe basically due to maybe the lack of coaching or what's going on in Dallas? I don't know. But this is a scary time to play them because you're all looking at Dallas like, man, they're not looking like Dallas. And this is the time where Dallas comes out and looks like Dallas. Okay. We haven't won against Dallas on prime time since 2011. Okay, that's just horrendous. And that just hurts the ears, but I'm gonna say it again. We haven't won against Dallas on primetime since 2011. And this is a team in the New York Giants that certainly has the talent and has the defense to go out there and beat a team like Dallas that is currently struggling. Let this not be a get right game for Dak Prescott and Dallas. Let this not be a game where Dallas is gonna go in there and smash us. Hopefully not. Now we do have some major injuries. Okay, we have Odori Jackson that's gonna be out. We have Andrew Phillips that's gonna be out. Okay, and then we have Darius Staten that is questionable. Now we have both our CB and our DB, both our secondary guys that is key pieces on this roster is out. So it's like who's going to be back there at Banks and Newman? Like really, obviously we know who's going to be back there at Banks and Newman, but are they going to be able to stop Dallas from moving the ball up and down the field? And I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say this is going to come down to the red zone stops. This is going to come down to really we're going to be heavily relying on the boys up front to get there. We're going to need Brian Burns to get there. We're going to need Aziz to get there, step up and get there. Obviously Dexter Lawrence is gonna do Dexter Lawrence things. But that's what we need Dexter Lawrence to have one of his Dexter Lawrence games to really help us out on defense because at the end of the day, our secondary is non-existent in this game, and hopefully the boys, up front. I'm gonna say the top seven, top front seven. Hopefully the boys up front
Yeah.
can stop them, right? And then when you get to the offensive side of the ball, hopefully Daniel Jones continues to been playing how he's been playing. He's been more comfortable behind that offensive line. That offensive line has been holding up. That's one thing that I will say on the season. That offensive line has absolutely looked pretty good. Okay, I believe we're in the top 15 in with most categories when it comes to offensive line play. And that is something. That is saying something. Talking about the New York Giants, and Daniel Jones is making smarter decisions as the weeks go on. He's not making the stupid decisions that we've seen him make in the past. And hopefully that continues, man. I want to ride for this team. I think Malik Neighbors has the opportunity to really have a good game. I think Hyatt needs to get involved. I think Cherone Tracy and Theo Johnson needs to get involved. And I think we have a possibility of moving the ball on Dallas and coming out with the win. I hopefully that everything is, if I said it correctly, we should defend home field and the Dallas Cowboys shouldn't be beating us this game. But we don't know until tonight. Go right ahead, Raphael.
I mean, between for this game right now, I'm very confident because this is like a classic rivalry that we're talking about for like years to come. I mean, how very curious because they had to motion to check the Stone versus Man. I mean, is Malik Neighbors is going to be open or close enough? Because it's not them, it's going to be like a really checking it out. But the Trinkle is not going to be like a trap game because I know that Malik Neighbors runs down the defense just like retrieving for the game and against for the Baltimore Ravens and against for Cleveland Browns. But it seems that everything's gonna be like a really a point. Don't be expected if the defense of the New York Giants could be anything bigger because they've been struggling a lot about for the team for buying the ball. But I know it's gonna be like it is so realistic, but don't be expected about it because you're gonna be see like a lot of battle of production. Everything is gonna be at that point because Dallas Cowboys, they're very suffering enough. They're really suffering enough because they just wanted to pay so much for this quarterback stars between for that Prescott and everything. But between for the New York Giants, the defense is gonna be demolished. It's gonna be demolished because right now it seems that the New York Giants are very favorite to demolish the Dallas Cowboys because the only weakness about for the Dallas Cowboys is not only for CeeDee Lamb, but also for Dak Prescott. So I would love to see how they're gonna push a ring through about it. So I had to give it stop the wrong defense. So I would give it like the New York Giants win against Dallas Cowboys because it's not only about for the old steam rivalry, but I have great confidence because Malik Neighbors is gonna be like a breakdown this key like an important match to see what happens about for this one. So don't be like a really expected at all. So New York Giants had to the W because it seems that they're gonna be like very successful because Brandon Ball is going to be like able to install a more sophisticated offense because they know what's happening they have because they're trying to square it off with the wrong hole about for the last year, but they're trying to check it about instead of being aggressive. But if they had so much standard about for the aggressive for the offensive game, because it's not gonna be talking wrong. Because the sprinkle is gonna be like a wrong play to mix it up the team right now. And it's gonna be like it is someone that he'll be like the neighbors and also for the Sheen right now, also for the special teams, when giving like an onboard, it's not really gonna be treated draftful because you're gonna treat like trainer like the rookie because having enough to figure the teams out because this is not gonna be like really choking at all because they're really to get handled of these turnovers. It's not gonna be really right because it's not gonna be really bad at all. So I would expect that about for the defense and the offense of the New York Giants is gonna be like a really fun but they need to stop the run against Dallas Cowboys because right now Dallas Cowboys' weakness is not only about for the right receiver but also for the special teams. Wish the New York Giants could be like an advantage about for the utilizing the special teams and the playbook. So I would expect that about the New York Giants win against Dallas Cowboys.
I absolutely love it, and that's what we really need, man. We need to go in here. We need to punch the victory. We can't get lazy on it. We look what happened last week against the Ravens, man. Dallas Cowboys scored 21 points in less than 5 minutes. Okay, so we can't have that Dallas come out and like, yes, they was getting smashed early on in the game, but at the in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes left, the Dallas Cowboys was able to put up 21 points on the Baltimore Ravens. So we can't have that continue. We can't have them come in, and I get it. I just got done talking about the two key pieces that's out in the secondary in Andrew Phillips and in Odoi Jackson. Man, we need our guys to step up. Do we give them the -5? I think we do give them -5. Honestly, guys, I think the Giants might win by 3. I don't know if that if I hope Raphael is right. I hope the New York Giants come in and smash, but I'm kind of scared of that one at that 5.5. And as far as Daniel Jones and this team, I just hope that he
Yeah.
can continue to show us and continue to improve and continue to go in the right direction. Miz, we missed you this episode, but I promise you, my man, please, we'll get you on one of these episodes. Maybe we'll do a show together for the Big Blue Crew Network and stuff like that. I'd love to do that with you. And that being said, though, make sure you guys go check out Miz picks and predictions because he drops it every Thursday as well. Thank you so much, Raphael, another member of the Big Blue Crew, for joining me today. Always, you're always welcome. Any episode next week, if you want to come on, you're more than welcome to come on. Thank you so much for holding it down. Let these people know where they can find you, and we'll get out of here.
All right, so you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram at Capitan Rafucho, and of course, I just wanted to brought everything something, and as being part because right now I just have like a one special to do on this Sunday because not only I just wanted to commend between Raiders versus Browns, but also I just wanted to commend because right now this weekend I provide like a one game with like two games at the same different hour. Because not only I'm providing between Raiders versus Browns, but also I'm providing Los Angeles Chargers versus Kansas City Chiefs, which is gonna be like a huge important game for the rest of our nation.
Hell yeah. So you guys gonna make sure I know the Bit
Yep.
Network. Everybody be calling a bunch of games this weekend. So tune in to the Big Blue Crew Sports. We got Raphael calling games. We got Big Pat, NYG, Lou calling games. I know Coach calls the Rutgers games as well. A big game for Rutgers tomorrow. Obviously Rutgers is probably gonna smash. It's not that big of a game. They're playing Washington, and Rutgers have some of some of the best O line in college football. So shout out to Rutgers, man. Rutgers are looking good this season as well. We got the U playing tomorrow too. Shout out to Miami. I know that's NYG's team. He closely follows that in North Carolina. And that being said, shout out to No Mess, man. Thank you so much for holding down the chat. I know it's a different time this
Yeah.
week, but hopefully I'll try to make it better and consistent as the weeks go on a same time slot. But that being said, guys, we appreciate you guys watching. Next time you'll probably see me is next week on this same episode. I'm gonna get back on Premium Takes soon. I knew you guys been missing me on that show, but thank you so much for Mac the Giants fan and Adam Costas for holding it down. And then Leather to the Face Saturday night with Lou and with Bills and Pat. And then we got the Combat Club coming to you soon. Thank you so much for holding
Yes.
that down as well, alongside
Yes.
with Horde of the City and a lot of other great podcasts on this channel. So make sure you guys subscribe, hit that like button, and turn that notification bell on, so you guys never miss a video.